Oh my goodness, I am muted. Look at that. Thank you, sorry. You had nothing because my audio is here too. Hold on. We're gonna do a tier list to start. Then we're gonna take some viewer exhibitions. Those are the wrong ones. I think I want to re-rank everything, question mark. I thought about maybe just doing the new legendaries, but especially coming from ranking 100 series 4 and 5 cards, there's less than 40 of these currently, so. And I was thinking to try and make it more clear on how people should spend resources. I was thinking of maybe not doing S through F this time. What do we think of these categories? Are these like do these communicate? Please communicate like a range of cards. Like if you saw one of these before you saw cards in them, would it like make sense what I'm trying to communicate? Maybe these two have a little bit of ambiguity. How do you buy specific cards in Shadowverse? So you have a currency called vials that you get from liquefying extra cards. And you can auto liquefy copies past 3, but you could also manually get rid of foils. So like I have 3 non-foils, I could get rid of the 3 foils of these. And then you could craft specific cards on demand for others. It feels like buy these and craft staples are the same. So, well, that's good though. So the idea of craft staple is you should buy these if you want to play this craft. Is this tier list based on a card standalone, power level, or conjunction for the meta? You know, I actually was gonna ramble a little bit about that inside of the tier list, but we could pre-base it now. Shadowverse is the first and only card game in almost 2 decades I've made content for where I had a bunch of fucking people try and argue with me that cards have an absolute power level and you shouldn't judge them in the context of the current metagame. And that is just the most mind-numbingly idiotic take I have ever heard, because it's utter bunk and nonsense. The power level of everything depends on the context in which they're being played, and trying to evaluate cards in a vacuum is a terrible idea because they're all going to get sucked up and torn up and crumpled. Yeah, there were so many comments. My last tier list video actually got a bunch of thumbs down compared to just like neutral, non-political content that I make, because there were a bunch of people that were like, yeah, this card's really good. It shouldn't matter if the decks it goes in right now are bad. And I was honestly flabbergasted that there was that much pushback, that a card that was like stone cold unplayable in the metagame, a bunch of people were like, no, this card's supposed to be really good. It just doesn't have the support. It's like, well, yeah, if it doesn't have the support, that means it's not good. Maybe I should call this class staple. Is that more clear? They're technically called classes, I think, right? Even though it's like a Mistcraft or whatever. It's very possible for cards that used to be, yeah, well, I mean, that's why I'm going to revisit all of the legendaries, right? Like, I'm sure there are going to be cards that ranked low on my previous tier list that are going to be better now because the context is the format is different. You definitely shouldn't just like the power. And I guess maybe that's from a lazy perspective of people are looking at. They just want like a set and forget. You evaluate this thing and then it's always at that thing. All right, I need to close. So shouldn't you use a title like tier list is in Infinity Evolved? Yeah, I think that's what I used last time. What did we call it? Yeah. Best legendaries to craft full tier list for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond Legends Rise release. I will absolutely put the set title in there because the context change. I think the Dex tier list. I said that too, right? I had the set name in it. This ain't my first rodeo, chat. Yeah, this had the what's it called in it too? Legends Rise full tier list. Yeah. Taint my first rodeo. Let's get this sized up in a way that makes sense and looks reasonable. What happens when I put a card in each of these? There gonna be enough in any of these that I go to 2 rows? I don't think so. How many do I need to get for a second row? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Oh, that will have 12 in any of them. Is there a reset button? No, it got rid of my files! That's not what I wanted to do. Alright, well. You know. Mistakes were made. Buy these class staple playable media bad. That was the rage we had before, right? Medium or fine? Nah, playable's kind of fine. This one might be. I might not need both of these, huh? Oh yeah, kind of medium. Kind of mediocre. Thought you spelled mediocre, right? I can spell. God bless. Kind of mediocre at spelling. Fringe. Fringe. I think I like fringe. I like fringe. Niche. Ooh, niche is a good one. Is niche less communicative than fringe? I think I like niche. It's more positive. It's more positive. All right, gamer. Yeah, imagine having positivity in your YouTube video. I'd say they are about the same, but niche is more positive. Yes, exactly. Is there not a poster child for banned cards in this game yet? What's our Kang or our Dragonite card? You know, I'm actually really impressed with the volume of cards we have in this game so far and how many of them are playable. Honestly. Okay. Shall we? Shall we? I'm gonna put this is gonna be a dedicated YouTube video, so I'm gonna turn my ring light on and burn my eyes out for the next little bit. Radioactive Clown. Thank you for the 23 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. By the way, some people have been asking on the YouTube side of the regulars here. I enabled memberships on the YouTube channel yesterday. So if you're someone that enjoys my stuff and you want to support directly, obviously subs have always been up on Twitch, but if you prefer YouTube as a platform, I've had a lot of regulars over there. There's 3 different membership tiers. And after the tier list this morning, we're going to play some viewer decks from Twitch subscribers and YouTube members. Let me pin that over on the Twitch side too. All right, shall we? Shall we? I'm gonna get a drink of water here. What's this set called? It's Infinity Evolved, right? It's our second set, Infinity Evolved. Infinity Evolved. Hey, Aaron Phoenix. Thank you to one of our first members on the YouTube side. I really appreciate that direct support. Thanks for keeping me around and supporting the Shadowverse stuff. All right. If anybody subs or supports, I'm going to do the callouts for those after we're done recording the tier list, so they're not lumped in the middle. Let's get to it. When did Infinity Evolved release? It's been it came out on Thursday, so we're almost a weekend. It was the 17th. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Shadowverse Worlds Beyond First Expansion Infinity Evolved has been out for almost a week, and I've been playing a ton of this game, rubber banding around between Sapphire and Diamond groups as I climb my way up the ladder and experiment with lots of different things. Today's tier list is going to be using a little bit different format than you might be used to. Rather than ranking cards S through F, I'm going to hopefully group them in a way that's maybe a little bit more useful for those of you at home to figure out your crafting priorities with your valuable vials as you wade your way into this expansion. To give a quick breakdown on these, the buy these category is going to largely be reserved for neutral cards that I think are excellent in a lot of decks that are very safe crafts for everyone, regardless of what you're looking to play. These class staples are also very safe crafts with the asterisk that they're for specific classes. So if you want to be playing a class, they're probably worth picking up. Playable cards are ones that are definitely going to go into decks if you have them, but I think they're lower crafting priority than what I would call a class staple, because you can probably substitute them out without hurting the power level of your deck nearly as much. The niche cards are ones that are playable in a specific archetype for a class, but they're not as widely applicable everywhere. And the bad cards, I think, are unfortunately pretty self-explanatory. To get a really easy one out of the way here to start, Odin is the headliner of the buy these category. This 7 play point card in our latest expansion has been a 2 and 3 of in so many different deck lists that I've been playing him in. Initially, people thought, myself included, that he was just going to be useful for clearing out Wilbur without triggering out his last words, but as the metagames developed a little bit and there's been a little bit less Haven, Odin's just been an absolute phenomenal utility card to play in a lot of spots. Having a card that can answer a big threat on the opponent's side of the board without using up one of your evolutions is so valuable, and Odin does exactly that. Our other card in the buy this category is our 7-drop neutral from the previous expansion. Olivia is still fantastic. Really love her in a variety of things. She goes in slightly less than Odin, I would say, because you need to have super evolutions available for her typically, but still very, very widely applicable and good card to pick up if you didn't open her from the first set. I'm just going to go right along here, starting with Burnite and working our way down now. Burnite is definitely a class staple. The Dragoncraft deck is very happy to have her. She not only can sweep the board and stabilize things for you in the Dragoncraft deck, but her Super Evolution emblem is critical for Dragoncraft to be able to run down opponents on the other side of the board as the games tick and go long. Dimensional Climb. Easy class staple here for the Runecraft stuff. The best Runecraft deck in the game right now, and I would argue the only playable Runecraft deck at the moment is Declimb, and you want 3 copies there. Kuon, very similarly. I think Kuon's actually more flexible than Dimensional Climb. If there's a world where there's a second Runecraft deck in existence, Kuon probably still goes into that as well, and he's very, very powerful. You know, the text on these cards is small. We're gonna learn that I don't know the names of all of them. So our new puppet lady is a card that I've been kind of split on. I think she's definitely playable, but I'm skeptical that you need to have her in order to play with puppets. As I was playing puppets, it felt like I wasn't sure she was actually meaningfully better than the silver 5-drop that creates 3 puppets in your hand. She can kill smaller things without an evolution, but there's a very size limitation to what she can kill. So while she's fine, I don't think she's necessarily a staple for all of those decks. Orcus, arguably one of the generically best cards in Shadowverse still as we head on into the second expansion. You're playing 3 of her in every Portalcraft deck, absolutely. The Twin Calamities. I'm honestly kind of torn on this card. I think a lot of people would tell you it should just be a class staple, but it definitely doesn't play inside of the aggressive shell. And if I'm being honest, inside of the mid-rangey shell, I've been kind of whelmed by this card. It's definitely playable, and it's fine if you really love the effect, but it is not quite going in everywhere. Janine, I think Havencraft as a whole is still in a kind of medium spot. Definitely got better. I don't think I would call it the worst class in our second expansion like it was in the first. But Janine definitely goes in every single Haven deck as a 3 of right now for sure. Realmia. I think Realmia is just playable. I think she obviously only goes in the artifacts deck for Portalcraft, but even inside of the artifacts Portalcraft deck, she's not always a 3 of. She's very regularly sees play as a 2, but even in the deck where she's optimized for, you're not maxing out on her typically. Rose Queen. My heart wants to put Rose Queen here. My head said she's probably still belongs here. So I think there's a chance that Forestcraft is unfortunately taking the title of worst class in our first expansion. away from Haven. And as I've experimented with a lot of Forestcraft decks, I've still felt like Rose Queen is only unnecessary at the top end. Like, even in the games where she's most optimal, it's hard to find a window to play her and not die before you can combo kill your opponent. And even in the games where you have a window to play her, you don't always have enough 1 energy cards to actually convert into bolts to kill your opponent with. Medusa. I think I would put Medusa in class staple for the Abysscraft. She is obviously a staple inside of all of the more mid-rangey and control shells, and even a handful of the aggressive decks have top-end some of her as just a way to like clean things up, because if they don't kill her on the spot, she ends the game right away the following turn. I think I'm gonna put our amulet-centric friend here inside of Nietzsche. He doesn't see any play inside of the Ward Haven craft, but he was a card that you wanted inside of the amulet-centric builds, and it's not clear to me that those builds are necessarily unplayable now. Garyu. I think I'm going to put Garyu in just the playable category. I've been a big fan of him inside of the Dragon Ramp shells I've been playing, and I think he's quite good, but I don't think he's necessary for that archetype to be functional, and you have a lot of decent options for him. He's less important than something like a Burnite that's providing you with a way to consistently clean the board out. Gildaria. I think, and this might be a strong take, but I actually think Gildaria might be in contention with Orcus for currently best individual card in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. She is easily the best card in Swordcraft, I think. Getting a free super evolution is so incredibly powerful. She sweeps the board. She slices, she dices, she pressures, she cleans up. She really just does it all. Right behind you, Anne. All right, the twins go up here with Kuon and Dimensional Climb. Even if you're trying to be adorable playing dedicated Dirtcraft stuff, I think you want 2 to 3 copies of the twins in it. Card is very, very good. The Lady of the Woods. I think I'm gonna slide her into Nietzsche. I think previously I would have considered her kind of bad. With our latest expansion, she does at least seem like she has a role inside of the dedicated fairy aggressive deck, which is nice, but I think Nietzsche there, because there's definitely a number of Forestcraft decks that aren't interested in playing her. Owlbear. I think for me, in this latest expansion, I think Owlbear's just in the playable category. My personal preferred Swordcraft deck actually isn't playing any copies of Owlbear. And while there's no denying he's this, I can threaten ending the game on the spot, there is both a lot more ward with 4+ toughness in this newest expansion, which really hurts Owlbear's closing power when there's ward things that his 3 damage trigger can't kill. And if you're not in a spot where you're ready for Owlbear to be killing your opponent, he's generally speaking worse than most of the other 5, 6, 7s, and 8s that Swordcraft can be playing. Well, he's your best possible card when he kills them, obviously. Whenever you're in a spot that isn't literally killing them dead with your 9 energy enhanced Owlbear, he is coming up quite a bit short compared to the other options, I think. Agave. I honestly think this is probably the best / most important Abyss Legendary in the game right now. It is a card that interacts with the board, meaning that control decks want to play it. And when you evolve it, it pressures both players' life total, which means aggressive decks want to be playing it as well. If you are an Abysscraft gamer, this is one of the best cards you could spend your resources on. Eurus. I've been really whelmed by this card in general. I would not be surprised if there's like some more hard controlling sword build that gets figured out that really wants him. So I think I'm going to put him in niche rather than bad. I think while he prevents himself from being removed from the board by evolution, since he stops things from attacking the turn they come in, the fact that Odin is up here in the buy these category, and there's just so many decks playing Odin right now, really hurts the effect of this card a lot. Yudi. I think Yudi is like a textbook example of a card I want to have in the playable category here. I think she's best in slot 3-drop regardless of what Portalcraft deck you're playing, but at the same time she's just a meat and potatoes style card where she's not really defining what your deck is doing. She's just like helping you have early game consistency, and if you needed to budget or replace her with something else, you can still do so and play a reasonable game with the rest of your deck. Cerberus. I think if Medusa is up here, Cerberus should probably be up here too. While she's obviously the headlining staple in the mid-range and controlling builds, there's some of the aggressive decks I've seen that try and go up a little bit bigger into her too. She has some diminishing returns with her super evolution when you have things like bats in your graveyard that can be bringing back, but she really kind of does it all. She helps you stabilize the board. She pushes damage with her puppet that has the last breath to deal damage, so does a good range of things. For our aggressive dragon lady, I think she slots here into playable with Garyu. The bigger rampy builds of dragons have no interest in playing her, but she's a pretty staple top end in the lower to the ground builds. But I also think you could probably get away playing that deck budget without her. Norman's a card that's really looked impressive. I think he's up there for one of the better cards in this expansion overall, along with Gildaria. The big thing that surprised me about Norman is how clean and powerful he has looked in a world where you're not just playing dedicated Earthright. A lot of the folks playing Runecraft stuff are still mixing him in when they're using things like Dimensional Climb, just because his ability to drop down and gain you 8 is really, really good. Yeah, Runecraft is Healcraft in part because of Norman's ability to jump you up 8 in a single turn. Agree. Aether. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna group Aether and Wilbur together here, and I think they both just belong inside the playable grouping. I think it is unclear to me that the Havencraft Wards deck is necessarily the best way to be playing that class still in this new expansion. It was like really popular and people were hyped about this new busted thing on the first 2 days of the expansion, but I think it's really clear as the metagame has developed more that while that deck's really good draws are really good, they're kind of average, mid-tier, below average draws really come up short compared to a lot of other things in the metagame. So if you hyper focus on the games where you go Wilbur on 6, Aether on 7, Janine on 8, the deck literally feels unstoppable, but you just don't get to do that in every one of your games. Karula. Karula is, I think he's better than Realmia. He obviously doesn't go inside of puppets because he's an artifact only card, but I feel like he probably, I think there's a chance he belongs up here, but maybe just the fact that he doesn't go in puppets means that he's supposed to just be inside of playable. He's definitely a very powerful card, but if you're not interested in playing artifacts, he's not a card worth spending resources on. So I think we go into here just because it's very clear he doesn't belong in puppets. Amelia. Amelia is definitely a ooh, we're gonna have to zoom out here a little bit as we get a second row. Amelia is definitely a class staple. She is very, very powerful, provides card advantage for you, allows you to find your other bigger bombs more consistently, can put a barrier across your board, making it very difficult for you to crack open. She's stellar. Our feet lady, Phil Lennon. She is easily a class staple. I think she slices, she dices, she's a 2/2 you can play on curve. She cleans up things in the mid to late game with her evolution. She stops the dimensional climb deck from like completely railing you on its combo turn by making their cards cost some more. I like her a lot. This one's close. I'm gonna be honest. I think this card might be Rose Queen level bait. Just like thinking about all the other options inside of Runecraft, it's so hard to justify playing this card over literally any of the other powerful options. I don't know. Maybe she belongs here just because I think you could play her and not be completely embarrassed by it. But I really think the only compelling reason to play this card is if you like the card and not for power level. I think she's slow and clunky. And the payoff that you get for her versus like what Norman's giving you and other things like that is just not really worthwhile. Coyotes. I think he belongs in niche. He's obviously fine, and he sees play inside of the dimensional climb deck. But that's really the only place he belongs, and you only really want one copy of him, and you're not really gonna play too much more of that. Salfa, I think she definitely belongs up here with Janine for the class staple. I think basically every deck playing Haven right now probably wants copies of Salfa. She helps stabilize your life total. She helps clean the board up. She's a ward unit. Really just does it all. This is another one where I'm right in between these. So I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played with or against this card yet. I have copies of her, and I've like looked at her every time I put Forestcraft together, and then I've looked at all the other options, and I'm just like, I just can't come up with a compelling reason to play this card over Odin and over Olivia and over all these other cards. I think I'm gonna put her in bad. I can't think of a compel. Maybe someday I'm gonna play her and I'm gonna be like, wow, we were all wrong about this card. But I can't think of a compelling theory craft reason to engage with her, and nobody's played her against me. It's so clunky. Abataz. I'm gonna put Abataz in niche. I think there's a world where there's a really aggressive Forestcraft deck out there with fairies, and he's really impressive when he comes down on 3 as like a 5/5 or God forbid a 6/6 with the absolute best possible. But outside of his high rolls, he's only okay. Grimmer is a quintessential, very playable card. It's a neutral card, so I think it's a fine card to spend resources on if you think you're going to play it in a few different spots, but I also don't think it's the make or break card in any of the decks that you're playing. Fenny. A couple of people have thought some of my placements have been contentious so far, but I think I bet this is the one that I'm going to get the most flack on. I think I'm going to put her in niche. I think there's an argument that she's bait in general. I think this is the type of card that people have a hard time evaluating because they only remember the high rolls. And while the high rolls look really impressive, the other games where you just like have this 8-drop 4/4 that you just didn't have a window to play and you died is just like, it's real clunky. Titania, I think she's gonna earn one of the highest ratings of a Forest Craft card here today, and I'm gonna slot her into playable. I think is where she ends up at. I think most Forest Craft decks are probably happy to have a flow of extra fairies. She evolves to be a very unique type of removal that can even be disruptive to things like opposing Cerberus. Yeah, the Forest Craft Legendaries really ain't it, and she's probably the best among them. The cat that keeps on coming back. I think he's solidly inside of playable. There's aggressive shells that are happy to have him, but not a defining card by any means. And last but certainly not least, I think this is actually the second most important card inside of Abysscraft. I think similar to Aragave here, however his name is pronounced. She has play inside of the aggressive cores. She has play inside of the more controlling cores, and she's just a really good use of your pickup and your resources. Final cursory glance. Does Jeff at the end agree with Jeff over the course of the rest of it? Things that are close. Burnite could be close. I think you could make a compelling argument that Burnite only sees play in the ramp build of Dragon, and that because there's aggressive builds of Dragon, perhaps she should only be down here. I think I'm gonna demote Burnite to playable. And I feel like Medusa and Cerberus could go either way as well. They straddle that line real close because these two are seeing play inside of everything. And these two I think you could argue these two belong here. These ones are close for me. I think there's probably good Abyss decks that don't play either of these, and I think these cards are better than the twins on average, but probably not so much better that they belong up here over this. If you're just joining us, one thing I want to make it really clear, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of really indignant YouTube comments that don't understand this, but I want to make it clear that outside of this category that's explicitly called bad, these top 4 groupings are not saying these cards are more powerful than these cards. The goal of this list is not to communicate absolute power level, so much as it is hopefully to help guide people into getting an idea of how they should spend their resources based on the classes they like playing. So for example, if you're someone who wants to play Swordcraft, I would tell you the most important legendary card for Swordcraft is the one here in class staple, Gildaria. Likewise, you're a Portalcraft enjoyer, you're thinking, how do I spend my resources? Orcus is the best Portalcraft card to be playing. I think a number of cards in both the playable and even niche category can be quite strong in the right context. However, they are a lower priority for people to spend resources on if they're looking to flesh out the core of their collection to build decks with more minimal resources. As always, I appreciate everybody that made it all the way through to the end of this YouTube video, and shout out to everybody that watched it while we recorded it on the live stream. I would love to hear in the comments down below which things you think I missed on, with the caveat that we gave there that this is not purely about power level. Remember, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and ring that bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming daily Shadowverse content that we're pumping out here in Hoaglandia, Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, and smash the like button on this video as well. Our Agave is an insane card. Yeah. Neurotic Joker, are you a long-time Hoaglandia, or are you pooping in? You're a long-time Hoaglandia. You're going to be shocked, Neurotic Joker, to learn that everybody thinks the economy in the digital card game that they're playing is always very bad. Believe it or not. It's actually really funny to me that this game got review bombed, because it genuinely has one of the better digital card game economies I've touched. Hey, Robert, thanks for hanging out. Good to have you along for the ride still. We're getting switched over, gamers. We were in the okay, sweet. I need to run an ad on Twitch real quick so it doesn't pop up. Remember, if you want to dodge the adverts, consider subscribing. It's a great way to support the content directly, and you can even do it for free with Jeffrey Bezos money if you have Amazon Prime. Don't go anywhere. But I want a fully optimized deck, free to play day one. Yes, that is the vibe for sure. Gonna give shout outs to all of our subs that happened while we were locked in our tier list. Speaking of, Radioactive Clown, thank you for the 23 months. BJ Enders, thank you for the 16. Good morning. Cody coming in hot for over 6 years. I appreciate the very generous tier 2. Chuckle Monkey, thank you for the over 2.5 years. Thank you for the 3 years, almost 3 years. Switch DM. Little Norstein, thank you for the quarter of a year. Roth, thank you for the almost 7 years. Good morning. Nesnetsu, thank you for the 7 months. How are the metrics for the Shadowverse Worlds Beyond content? It's funny because I think this discussion actually goes hand in hand a little bit with the economy mention, but the view counts are pretty reasonable. They're comparable to Pocket, which means they're not terrible, but they're worse than Snap. But the one of the unfortunates about Shadowverse content so far is that the amount of direct support for it has not been particularly great. I think of all the games I've made content for, it probably has the lowest direct support to viewer ratio, which isn't unique to my content either. Like, I've been watching a lot of Shadowverse streams, and on average, people streaming this game do not seem to get do not seem to have many bits of subs or whatever on Twitch or memberships on the YouTube side. Nesnetsu, thank you for the 7 months. Yes, all of the biggest creators for Shadowverse are definitely non-English. That's for sure. My small slice of Shadowverse content is one of the bigger One of the bigger English Shadowverse ones. Hey, speaking of direct support, thank you for that, Alan, on the YouTube side. Appreciate that. Yes, you are correct that there are a number of non-English creators that have very, very large viewer bases for this game. But who are the biggest? Who actually? Before we dive into our first viewer in exhibition, I'm curious. I said I'm one of the bigger English ones. Is that accurate? I can filter by language here. So we've got a few people that are doing numbers. I think this creator is very, very large in general, right? 2K for English is crazy for this game. Yeah, they do about 2K for everything. There's a very successful variety streamer. Demuddle, thank you for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, there's a few people grinded a bunch in here, but yeah, in general, like if you look at the people who are streaming the most for this game, this is just English, by the way, because yeah, to filter, you could do all here. There are a few people with very, very big average viewer counts that are all Japanese here. This one's Chinese. Yeah, they're almost all Japanese. With a couple of Chinese thrown in there. All right, let's dive on into this dragon aggro here. This is what I've been meaning to get around to. This looks relatively close to the list I had loaded up. The Blade's a very interesting card. Engage 1 to give something 1/1, and then when it dies, you get the blade back out of it. Neat templating on that. Do blades stack? Yeah, I would assume you could put two of them into the same thing. It is basically an equipment for magic. Yep. Oh, you don't have game sound. Alright, should be good. Gotta keep Valentin and Mulligan for a staff here. Queued up with Dragon Aggro, queued into Haven for the first time in 3 days. I think I want to go 2 into 2 here.
Absolute zero.
I think I'm gonna play it and equip this and hit them for 3. Because if I play another 2 out, they're just gonna get to eat it anyways, and this way this has to trade with this because it has Bane. That gives us our blade back. I can go 2 plus engage the blade on it, which is nice. Not play the Philandu, because I want to be able to evolve that next turn to clear out a potential ward that gets in my way. So ambush means we can't target this. I think we're just supposed to push damages here.
Surely you'll listen to me.
The problem here is this is about to evolve and eat 2 things. It's gonna evolve, destroy this, and then kill this in combat, I assume.
Shadows. I leave the rest to you.
Start with the basic fish stance.
So we get to push. Huh? I think. Oh, this is awkward. I can't get my extra 2/2 from the evolution because of the dagger. Do I just evolve this and hit their face? I think I just evolved this and hit their face. I think that's the play. They're down to 8 now.
There's no salvation for me or anyone.
Brace yourself.
Leave me alone.
My arts failed?
All will pay tribute to my black wings.
One strike fatality.
I have no need. Any last words?
My burden to bear.
Gonna go ahead and clean these out. If they don't heal, they're technically dead to Bruce plus the Super Evo.
Can we talk after the battle?
That's not a card that saves them from Bruce, chat. Also not a card that saves you from Bruce.
The battle.
Beep beep.
Too slow.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. All right. I mean, we started the morning by beating Wardhaven with our dragon aggro deck, so that I don't know that there's a better start to the set than that, right?
I suppose that was a good warm-up.
It was a good warm up, wasn't it? I revisited the old game recently, and I didn't realize how much this had improved on the graphics. Also, I had 450,000 vials in the old game. One true Bob, thank you for the 32 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. 450,000 vials. Yep. There's a reason why the economy is worse than Shadowverse 1. That's it.
This brings me back.
Absolute zero. It comes for you.
We're mulliganing our more expensive cards here and keeping our ones that play for curve. Level 12 human, thank you for achieving a new level in Hoaglandia. Appreciate the 21 months. I'm going to mulligan. Wake up, sheeple. Wake up! And they swap places. They did. They did go left to right, right to left. That's true.
Watch where you spread the fire. I need sleep.
I might want to do this next turn. I'm probably going to be able to work in the blade. Which of our big boys do we bit? I think it's Warrior of the Deep. I think it's Warrior of the Deep.
What's happening to me? The winged musician dons her mask.
We'll evolve the Berserker here to kill this before they can evolve it. Usually when they play that out on curve, it means they have another one.
The winged musician dons her mask. Well, the currents.
Not being able to kill our 6/7 here is pretty bad for them.
All will pay tribute to my black wings.
I like the person who said I didn't verbally acknowledge them when I literally verbally acknowledged them. There really isn't a more peak social media experience than that. Someone getting indignant and being passive-aggressive while being objectively wrong. If you're gonna be an asshole and get mad at a creator for not acknowledging you, you should at least be paying enough attention to when they acknowledge you. Christ almighty.
How is this power possible?
That's just worse sort of human being. Big main character syndrome. Or go to a smaller stream. I watched them. I read their question and responded to it. It's fine to want to be acknowledged, but like at least like if you're gonna get mad about it, like take the 30 seconds or be paying enough attention when they do acknowledge you. Holy.
This
Oh, Ward Haven again. I guess it's not guaranteed to be Ward, but it's probably Ward. I'm a lurker, not being acknowledged is what I aim for. Fun fact, less than 10% of people who watch live streams on Twitch engage in the chat feature.
Are you sure?
Will you do tournament data recaps for Shadowverse like you did for Pocket? It really depends on what data is available. I know they're having their first tournaments this weekend, but I'm not familiar with what their formats typically look like for that, so it's really just going to depend.
Stay close. Protect our liege. I'll always watch over you. Evil doesn't stand a chance against me.
Young Paragon
Feeling kind of cooked, gamers.
Protect our liege. Evil doesn't stand a chance against me.
I guess next turn we get to push a solid amount of damage. I get to go Evo this, kill this, this kills here. We attach the blade to something, and then we get to discard for the fan.
Protect our liege.
I think I'm discarding the Forte.
To crack.
So I have 6, 7, 8 in hand otherwise, right?
Too slow.
My star is
Instructions for submitting a deck if you'd like to submit a viewer deck are pinned above both of the chats.
So was I still asleep? Repent.
Oh, wow. I messed up here real bad.
I leave the rest to you.
What was my mistake, gamers? Salfa means I should have put the blade on... Salfa means I should have put the blade on the Philandu, because it means that would have traded, and then my Forte would have been able to hit them in the face. If my Philandu had been a 5/5, it plays around Salfa.
Let the trial commence.
Pray for no Wilbur. There's literally an Odin sitting right here in my hand. It got rid of my sword! That's so rude.
Head will fall. Witness my kung fu. Conquer. To me, truth.
That's a big deal too, because I would have been able to
There's
would have been able to Blackwing him otherwise.
or anyone.
They're just cooked, right?
It is futile.
And beyond beckons.
But they're literally just dead.
Fate's head will fall. One strike fatality. Victory to me, truth.
A trial I must overcome.
It's like, this deck's been real gross.
I suppose that was a good warm-up.
Those are. If you would have asked me when we were loading up, how would I feel about the Havencraft matchup? I would have been like, that sounds scary. I even made a pretty big mistake that game with the blade and the Selfo. Get your own stocks now. Yeah, he was in the craft this category for a reason.
Much to discuss.
Well, again, looking for some cheap stuff. So I can hit them with this. I don't really want to spend my play points. I don't want to play the little dragon Danny because her 1/1 can trade with the 2/1 at least. It's a shame that we didn't have our lizard friend that could kill this.
I need sleep.
I think it's just Wind Rider. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that you want a Wind Rider when you have the staff out.
To our leash.
I like the options these other cards leave me.
A jingling purse I hear? The currents.
I see.
I think it's just Merman.
Start with the basic fish.
And I think I'm gonna use my evolution to push damage here.
It wasn't my
Too
fault.
slow.
Defects are my heart. Such is life.
My art's failed.
Such is life. Such is life.
Well, that's annoying. These ones are going away at least. The Lennon clears. It does clear and let me push damage, doesn't it? It's probably for the best.
My dominion.
So her deal 1 and evolve.
None can escape the domain of absolute zero. Why does this always happen? Stay close until he protect our liege.
And they're down to 9, which is kind of like a virtual 3.
This land is both cradle
13, yep.
and trajectory calculated. Why seek to fall from paradise?
The currents.
Gosh, how cooked are they, chat?
Bear your fangs of frost.
One strike fatality.
I have no need for any last word.
Not quite dead yet, but man, we're close. There's still a turn off at Orcus, so I can just like hit them with impunity here.
Earn freedom even for you.
I've got an extra play point to hit them with the warrior next turn.
Paragon dons his mask.
This might hurt.
My star is
This was the easiest, fastest 4-0 I think I've ever had in this game.
To learn.
I suppose that was a good warm-up.
How is no one playing this deck? I don't think I've played against this archetype at all this season. Is this red deck wins in Shadowverse? It certainly seems like it. Alright, we need to take a pause for the cause, let some adverts roll. But we're certainly gonna do some more of this. Shout out to Antipath for sending this one in. If you're watching on the YouTube channel and you're enjoying the content, make sure you tap the like button. Doesn't cost you anything, helps the content reach some more people. Appreciate the folks who have done that already today. The seasoned merman is a really nice included here. I think that's a card I wouldn't have thought personally to try and include in this archetype. And it's felt very, very reasonable. Feel about Apollo versus the third Phil Lennon. I guess this is nice for doing an extra point sometimes when you evolve. If we have a lot of 2s, that's probably a fine split. QR codes or theft chance, something like that. J Money, thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate the prime. What do you think of the impact of Odin on the meta and making the game so much faster? So that's what you asked there is what we refer to as a leading question, right? You asked me for what was my thought on Odin in the metagame, but then served me up a bit after it, implying that I should feel Odin is the reason the metagame is now faster. And I agree. It feels like games are closing out sooner in this expansion compared to the last one. But I don't know that I necessarily blame Odin for that. Onan, thank you for the 5 gifted subs on the Twitch side. That's very generous of you. I appreciate that support. I think Third Apollo could fill with Strike and Strike. I don't know. I don't mind the 1 copy of Strike. I think a really resource-efficient card like that is fine. All right, let's see if we have to pump the brakes here as we make it up into Diamond, or if we get to continue running people over, huh? Yeah, I actually agree with OCD scale on the Twitch side. I think part of the reason why the metagame is fast is actually because of this rune deck. Because you can't really build a hard control deck in this game that can go toe to toe with this. This is a combo control deck. So you can't play dirtily do nothing control in this game because the rune deck just kills you with a combo in the late game. You have to have a way to close. The Satan into dimensional is just so absolute. You can't go over the top of it. You have to kill them faster. I'm trying to decide if I want to spend my extra point this turn. I think the answer is no. I think it's just 2-drop into this, then we'll save up for Blackwing on 5 is the plan.
I need sleep. Gotta be the cutest. Stay close. Protect our liege.
Maybe more earth flavored. So the Edelweiss implies they're more earth flavored. Up until we saw the Edelweiss, they could have been the other deck still.
Surely you know I can't do this alone.
Too slow.
Man, we're having a lot of peak chat interactions this morning.
Leave it all to me.
I've had success with Control Abyss, but Rune is my worst matchup, and that deck does have the ability to close the game, so it's not true do nothing control. Oh wait, I'm reading your whole statement now, and you're agreeing with me. I thought you were saying. I apologize. You're right. I think Abysscraft's a good. A lot of the Abysscraft stuff I would describe as more mid-range than control, but it's definitely on the more controlling end of the mid-range spectrum. Yeah, I think that OCD scale calling it a mid-range plus deck, and the jargon I would use in the Magic community would we call it a big range deck, because like mid-range decks usually have a scale. There's like aggressive mid-range and more controlling mid-range, and I think the Abyss decks are like more bigger controlling mid-range, but they're still mid-range because they can close. Melvy screams Earthcraft. I don't think that's actually true anymore, because a lot of the what's it called builds of dimensional whatever are playing Melvy to enable Norman. Because Melvy, if you think about her, she's a 3-drop that draws a card. So she's definitely being played in the Dimensional Storm build. The card that signifies my opponent's playing dedicated Earthcraft is the Edelweiss. This is a card that's not being played in the Storm decks typically. Oh, I think we're cooked, gamers.
All will pay tribute to the Black Wings.
This is probably why I haven't played against a lot of the deck that we're playing. This rune matchup feels helpless, and my opponent hasn't even played Norman yet.
The right cinch
And anecdotally, rune's been the most common matchup I've played.
You earned this.
Our non-rune matchups, we've been running them down. It's not unwinnable, but either to stumble a bit. Yeah, that sounds accurate. All right, let's see how we feel against Sword, huh? What would you say is Rune's worst matchup? I genuinely don't know. I don't really enjoy the combo control Rune deck, so I haven't played a lot of the Dimensional Storm, whatever it's called. Fan into 2 into activate fan. Abyss aggro seems good against spell boost. Really? Yeah, I don't know. My experience with Abyss aggro, it could be negativity bias for sure, but my experience with Abyss aggro into Runecraft has not been. Yeah, honestly, I think Fate's comment in chat is accurate. Not drawing the roommates is Rune's worst matchup. I think if that deck's drawing its cards, it mostly just beats everything. Is the kind of unfortunate reality. There's some instances where a second fan is useful, but I'm gonna bin it here, like the rest of our cards.
The Lord Commander dons her mask.
Steel against steel. Too slow.
Double fan beats any control deck. Maybe. This opponent's not a control deck though, right? This card's so impressive in this aggro deck. A 6/7 that kills one of their things. Such a chunky stat line.
The Lord Commander dons her mask.
Them having a second Zirconian here makes sense since they played out the first one aggressively.
What current?
I see.
I want a mixture of applying pressure while making sure I don't die this turn. So let's do this.
My kung fu.
My star is leave it all
Eat this.
Pack up for the day.
Bin this one? Question mark.
How do we protect our liege?
Get you down to 8. If they don't have a Gildaria, they're pretty cooked here.
What current?
Oh, I could have coined the blade because the point's going away. Absolutely. I always forget that. Oh, I always forget that. That's a great catch.
The young paragon dons his mask.
One strike fatality.
Gaze at the stars
My
and
oath
know
is
leave it
fulfilled.
all to me.
My oath is fulfilled.
Actually, I think I'm bidding the blade.
Stay close. Protect our liege.
My oath is fulfilled.
All right, now they have to heal or they're dead to the super emo.
Fly forth into an endless.
Oh, was the blade lethal? Holy shit, it was. Ah!
Just tell me who to skewer.
I missed the play point again. Extended BM. No, we might lose.
Even fate shall fall to this blade.
No, we're good, right? They're dead.
Foresight.
They're dead to my super emo.
Stay close, Otohime.
He gave me direction.
Protect our liege.
Not always.
All right, I did miss lethal. We gave them an extra turn.
Eat my vapor trail.
I concede.
Where's the play point twice? Wow, that's a
I suppose that
that's a treasure chest. Holy. Above average box. Oh, we got a booster pack and 3. We got a booster pack at 3,000.
With rain.
What's
comes
it called? It might be right to keep Berserker against Sword. Oh, this hand is real bad. Oh, is the battle pass a mission?
to the shores of victory.
Okay, weird. It looked like it was from the thing.
I demand a rematch.
We're gonna do our best control deck impersonation here, which is not good for the home team.
Help is here.
To the shores of victory. I'm here to spread the love. Not all is lost.
Lovely day for a picnic. You look splendid, Princess Clem.
Them electing to hit there is really good with Armor Man.
start with the basic fish stats.
I am satisfied. I demand a rematch.
Sardine swing.
The Lord Commander dons her mask.
Repent.
Reason.
To the shores of victory.
Oh, I need something I can play out next turn. Another Merman would be the best possible draw. I mean, that's not terrible.
Only frost blooms in my dominion.
Witness my kung fu.
None can stop
I
the dominion
yield.
of frost.
He gave me direction.
Absolute zero. Shall we pack up for the day?
I don't know that we're winning this game, but I think we're definitely not winning it if I
Destruction.
pump the brakes to interact with them.
Gums.
Fortissimo.
I need a merman, chat. I need a merman.
What's happening to me?
That'll also do. That'll also do. We're winning this game, but we're not losing outright, so we've got that going for us.
Balance achieved.
We need to get it a big. We need to get it a big hit, so that way the warrior can finish.
Fate's head will roll. Too slow.
All right, chat.
To me.
They're dead to Bruce. No Olivia. No Olivia. No, Olivia.
Pierce through the heart of darkness.
Oh, let's go. Bruce. Easiest game of my life. Never doubted us for a second. I cannot believe we won this game. You and me both. Bruce Craft wins the game. Listen, I know they call this class Dragoncraft, but really every single deck in this class is about the fish. Neptune and Bruce carrying the two Dragoncraft decks. It's all fish all the way down. All about the fish.
Rain comes death.
Honestly, his hand seems insane against Swordcraft. I think Draconic Berserker and Seasoned Merman are some of our best cards in this matchup.
Watch me spit the fire.
The only trophy I need is your heart.
Only frost. I'm busy.
Most who take the high road wind up
What's
dead.
happening to me? I need sleep.
Start with the basic fish stats.
We fear the dark because it let me aid you.
Steel.
Repent. Understanding is the first step to conquering.
Arts failed?
My oath is
Start
fulfilled.
with the basic fish stats.
My oath is fulfilled. My oath is fulfilled.
Too slow.
Gets this.
Swing!
I lacked foresight.
Who's the rally player now? Asking the real questions. Look at me. Look at me. I'm the rally player.
Dons.
Fortissimo. Moving out.
Forged in steel. My oath is fulfilled.
Arts failed? Scale against steel. Witness my kung fu.
It might be wrong to do this when they don't have a wide board.
Watch me spit the fire.
Hour of reckoning, Pops.
To the shores of victory! To the shores of victory!
Young Paragon dons his mask.
Have to kill Gino.
Fatality.
My star is the star of paradise.
Confident.
Leave it all to me.
Not all is lost.
The problem is Amalia is coming down next turn.
Any last words?
And if that happens, I think we're cooked.
I need sleep.
They need a giant grip awards here. I wonder what their long pause is here that they had this card.
I leave the rest to you.
I guess they can't attack. I guess they can't attack either of these. Are they dead? Good God, are they dead?
Young Paragon dons his mask.
I think they are, yeah.
Gaze at the stars.
Good gravy. I cannot believe we killed them through this.
Is fulfilled. Expose thy sins and pay the blood thunder roar.
This is.
Oath is fulfilled.
That's not remotely reasonable.
Any last words?
I will not falter.
I suppose that was a good warm-up.
I mean, we lost one in the middle there, but we've been largely running people over.
This brings me back. Power courses through me.
I'm gonna keep the blade into the twos.
Only frost blooms in my dominion.
The Fabled Mirror match. I played against a lot more Ramp Dragon then.
Only frost blooms in my dominion.
Start with the basic fish stats.
What's happening to me?
Or just a 20 still. I don't know.
Expose thy sins and pay the thunder.
Feeling pretty cooked.
Failed?
The winged musician dons her mask. Well,
I've seen
a dragon never forgets.
The ramp deck is so good when it curves.
Stay close, Otohime.
They're gonna like play a Neptune next turn and the game is over.
No one will protect our liege.
The fangs of the deep blue will break you.
They're not at 20 anymore. We have the moral victory. Yep.
We are the watchful eyes of the sea.
Currents.
Give me a Draconic Merman. I mean, that's a card that kinda lets us play the game.
Start with the basic fish stats.
The sea weeps.
Witness my kung fu.
Neptune is so much healing. Yeah, and she's not done healing them yet either, right? Like she's probably gonna heal them somewhere between 2 and 5 more points over the course of the game. They may still end this game at 20, maybe. They're paused here. We'll see what they've got going on. Can you heal over 20? You cannot. which is a good thing. They're either disconnected or they're debating if they can play Fene this turn.
One strike fatality.
More.
Arts failed?
All will pay tribute to my black wings.
One strike fatality.
I have no need. Any last words?
Dead to the 10 energy storm dragon.
You may approach.
Hey, Dilsky. Yes, I did get your Dragon Ramp submission. We'll do that one next. Please be dead. Please be dead. Look at how intimidating she is, chat.
All will pay tribute to my black wings.
Too slow.
All I have to say is, chat, the card games change, but gamers running the clock down unnecessarily while having an easy, obvious lethal does not. Oh, that's true. I have emotes muted, auto muted. There's a chance they were emoting us there. That's true. At least the clock is an aggressive 60 seconds in this game. Agree with that.
This brings me back.
With rain.
Anytime you have Fan in the opener, you can mulligan the Wind Rider. It's a good rule of thumb. I think in this matchup, we want to save our play point for playing Merman on 4.
Honor has no place on the battlefield.
I leave the rest to you.
More likely to want Wind Rider than I am Second Fan. Yes, yeah, you emote by holding down your leader portrait, which is not super obvious, thankfully.
Splendid, Princess Grim. What current?
I see.
Start with the basic fish stats.
Too slow.
Sardine swing!
Satisfied.
Not all is lost.
I demand a rematch. Honor has no place on the battlefield.
My arts failed?
I might want fill it in. I'm gonna bend the Wind Rider,
Oh, don't
put the
hate me.
blade on this.
Witness my kung fu.
Hopefully there's not gonna be 3 more turns after this one, so I'm gonna evolve. Punch him in the mouth.
Good little dove should be in bed by now.
What currents?
And then next turn I can Draconic Berserker plus use this again.
The harmony of death and destruction. Kalmato will pulse. Moving out.
What's happening to me? What currents?
Steel against steel. Too slow. Give me a challenge. My oath is fulfilled.
Balance achieved.
I'm gonna keep the strike since I'm out of evolutions here. I'm gonna engage this point to get extra damage in.
Unleash.
All right, we got him into Bruce range. That's all we can really hope for here. There's the Amalia. We need a shark off the top to finish things up here.
I fear neither death nor pain. What currents? Is this to be my legacy?
Fun factorooty for the people at home. You can actually engage the fan without having a card in your hand to discard.
My oath is fulfilled.
Full speed ahead.
My oath is fulfilled. Heaven's wrath will
GG.
on your head.
Pluie de paix.
That's close. Opponent had their finisher. We did not.
Reckoning approaches. A journey of 1,000 miles.
Yeah, if you have a card, you have to discard. But if you don't have any cards, you can use it anyways. All right, let's get one more in with this. We'll do a wrap up. We'll take an ad break. We'll slide on to our next one. Commander Bun Bun, thank you for the over 2 years. Appreciate that. Welcome back.
This brings me
I don't know what's going on, but I support it. If you haven't had a chance, game's really good. It's a more traditional card game like Magic or Hearthstone, but the gameplay is very solid. Mulligan, our extra 2, looking for something like a fan or a 4, which we found. What is this sleeve?
Young Paragon dons his mask. Young Paragon dons his mask.
He gave me direction. Full speed ahead.
Leave it all to me. A trifle.
Help is here.
To the shores of victory.
Mayday!
I leave the rest to you.
It is relatively straightforward to get a specific or first deck in this game as a free-to-play player. Getting everything is not going to be particularly tenable. Linksmate is a mobile data service in Japan that is Psy Games adjacent. One of their former producers runs it. They give you the premium battle pass bonuses for being on their data plan. That's a funny tidbit. Seasoned Merman was an excellent draw here. Let's just go pound for pound with this dork.
Not all is lost.
too slow. Sardine swing.
Not all is lost.
I plays really well on mobile though. Most of my off-stream time is done on my phone. Spend my walking around game of the late.
Soldiers, lend me your courage.
The only trophy I need is your heart.
Failed? Steel against steel. Witness my kung fu. Does death
I must stay strong.
We're going pound for pound with their board here early, but we're not applying pressure while we do it, which means our opponent's actually ahead here. They're up evolutions, and they have the better long game in this matchup. It was a dirt-rooted Joyer. The original Shadowverse is dirt any good here? Not really, unfortunately. They added some more dirt cards, but the dedicated dirt decks are only okay.
Most who take the high road.
I got excited there. I thought our 6/6 was gonna live.
All will pay tribute
Beep,
to
beep.
the Black Wings.
One strike fatality.
Pay tribute to the Black Wings, chat. Listen. This is our line, okay? There's a chance we die here. But if we're winning, it's on the back of the Black Wings. In Forte we trust.
Soldiers, lend me your courage.
Are they cooked? It feels like they're cooked.
I can see.
Oh, yeah. Mama, can you hear me? Mama, can you kill the swordcraft? How do we finish on this one? I think we definitely won more than we lost. Where'd we start? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 8 and 3? 8 and 3 is not bad. This is definitely the best laddering deck I've played this season. Because not only did we have a solid win rate in there, but man, were those games quick. I think my biggest takeaway is this. The more I play with this card, the more this might actually be one of the best cards in this expansion. It just does so much, and it's very good for both this aggro build and the rampy build. Just the mixture of the Mega Lorcas having rush to attack right away is so good. It's like Luminous Mage with extra stats. Kinda. So the Luminous Mage, you don't have to spend an evolve to get the extra one, right? Some similar vibe, but the dynamic is different where you have rush versus ward. The rush gives you more control over where the points on board are going, right? Which is nice. And then this deck, when I played a bunch of this deck last season, and it definitely felt like it was missing a third piece of good top end. And let me tell you about a third piece of good top end. Odin is just such a natural, organic fit for what this core is looking to do. I think the only card I was kind of whatever on is, I think I'd cut these Apollos. I think I was pretty thoroughly whelmed by him. Did we draw Odin in any of our games? Yeah, Odin was useful in a couple of the Haven matchups that we played. He's just very flexible. Blade felt like it was pretty good too. I feel like I would cut these Apollos and I would play another Phil Lennon. And honestly, Strike of the Dragonute was kind of whatever. I kind of wouldn't mind playing some Soaring Ivory Dragon. You're not going to hit the overflow on this nearly as often, but I think I kind of like the idea of doing this. It gets you another one drop in here, which is nice. And in the late game, it redraws you towards your Bruce. And this provides a similar effect to This provides a similar effect to Apollo while also being a 2/2 for you. What about the Gobbo? Gobbo's okay. I don't know. By the time you're super evolving, you usually don't have extra energy left over. You're pretty good at spending your energy every turn, so I think I like this. Okay, we need to take a break to run some ads on Twitch. As always, if you want to dodge adverts on the channel for the next month while also supporting what I do in a very direct way, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free sub on Twitch every month with that. You can take a couple of bucks from Jeff Bezos and send them to your truly. If you're watching on the YouTube side, we got memberships available on the channel as well. I've really been enjoying Shadowverse, and if you want it to be a regular part of my schedule every day like it has been, direct supporting like that's the best way for you to make that possible. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We actually have another dragon deck for our next submission. We're gonna try out what's it called? Fenny in the dragon deck here up next. We're gonna spew some resources on that. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. HC Goes, thanks for the brand new primer. Appreciate you taking a couple of bucks from Jeff Bezos and sending them my way. Do I want to rip a 10-pack or two before I craft her? Probably. Ooh, 2 legendaries in there. All right, I think from there we craft. That's in the next 10 packs now. I'm not putting more money in the machine until the next set. I have enough resources to build what we need. That was the last card I was missing. How much did I shell out for this expansion? I bought the $40 bundle and then one of the big $80 top-ups, so 120. Yeah, it's pretty in range with what I expect to spend in most card games. It's markedly cheaper than like Pokemon Pocket. Pretty in line with Snap. Oh, I guess I could have ripped another 10-pack from... I could have ripped another 10-pack from the gold. That's fine. I'm gonna hold that for the next set at this point. How much did I spend on the first set? About 200 bucks, I think. I had two $80 pulls plus each of the bundles, maybe a little bit more than 200. It was 2 of the big top-ups plus their 3 starter bundle. I think it was a 2, a 15, and a 40. That's like 60, so like 220 on the first one. Yeah, it's also worth noting too. I have someone said I had a bunch of resources left over. I still have a bunch of resources left over here, right? Like I've got enough to craft another 6-inch legendaries here, and if I dusted all these cosmetics, I would have more past that too. Hey Jeff, do you play mostly off-meta decks in this game too? This game has a little bit less deck building depth than some of the other games I've played. But yeah, we try and color outside the lines where we can. But this game definitely has a little bit of what I call the Hearthstone problem, where the fact that things are defined by classes means there's less deck building depth than something like Magic the Gathering or Marvel Snap. I don't really... I think I want to save the rubies for after we Fenny, so...
Fate howls like a tempest.
I've spent about half of Jeff, and I'm a few cards short of a complete playset of everything. Yeah, it's always more expensive to get everything right away. The prices I spent to get everything is like have all of the cards on the very first day of the expansion.
Can we talk after the battle?
Brosnan, thank you for the over 2.5 years. Appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm just gonna double Mega Lorca and kill this 2-1. Want to keep my life total high.
Just tell me why.
This play point's going away, and I don't have anything else to do this turn. I don't know. I guess they can Wilbur next turn, but if they Wilbur next turn, I'm fettying anyways, so.
There's no salvation.
I think this is fine.
Leave me alone.
Land beyond beckons.
My glorious story has just begun.
Too slow.
Hey, I was gonna do this to keep my life total high. Once we play Fetty, we have the inevitability here. So she halves the cost of all cards in our deck. So all of our ramp bombs are super cheap from here on out. Are we Thanos? We are certainly inevitable. It's unfortunate I'm not gonna have a window to play the second one for the Ultra Green.
Brace yourself.
It does stack, actually, yeah.
Is mine.
I think I'm gonna need to use this to clear the board. I'm gonna Ruby first though, because we could Ruby into Twilight Dragon that costs 5.
Only frost blooms in my dominion.
So when this evolves, she does 1 to everything.
None can escape the dominion of frost.
And then this destroys all damaged enemy followers.
Land beyond beckons.
Throw the dragon sign back and go digging for something bigger.
From the heavens, I alight.
Behold divinity. The hands of heaven are eternal.
Oh, you know what's something I didn't consider? If I would have played the ramp card last turn, I would have been able to Olivia into Twilight Dragon. That's fine. We could just draw the Twilight Dragon organically, and it's great. And then when Twilight Dragon evolves, it draws 3 cards. And then I can play a copy of Neptune for 4.
To our ocean paradise.
Man, Fetty's really good when my opponent does nothing and gives me an opportunity to play it. If they don't randomly kill us somehow this turn, we're gonna draw a ton of cards and gain a bunch of life and like...
Fear not the god's absence.
Repel.
True divinity is found within.
My glorious story has just begun.
My glorious story has just begun. I'll do it again, I swear.
Start with the basic fish stance.
Your move, Yugi boy.
From the heavens, I alight. Ding dong, ding dong.
I'm doing this to get the card out of my hand. Or to get the card off the board.
Fly forth into an endless sky.
We were really low on life at one point this game, yeah? Hey, look, it's a free Olivia.
Oh, jeez. I will cleanse you.
Your move, Yugi boy.
Fear not the god's absence.
Fetty is a very fun card.
Well, I tried.
You did. You tried. A+ for effort. Very fun card. If you want a high rolly power trip, that was certainly a high rolly power trip. Birdite cares about the actual cost in your hand, so discounts are technically anti-synergy with Birdite. But by the time you get there, it's fine. You're running them over. Yes, the big question is not how good is Fetty when she works. The question is how often can we play Fetty without dying?
This brings me back.
With
That's the key. Obviously, it's stellar when it works. Hey, Boom. Good afternoon. Against Swordcraft, you really want a Merman on 4, so we're saving our play point for that.
Is that a jingling purse I hear? Princess, where'd you go? Cash. I lost sight of it.
Howls like a tempest.
The Lord Commander dons her mask.
Start with the basic fish stance.
Dance!
It's a little aggressive, but I think I like it.
Sardine swing!
first step to conquering.
So I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Into this. Into evolve here. I guess I'm a little weak into a Gildaria.
Foresight.
The harmony of death and destruction.
If we wanted to Evo or Roman, shouldn't we have attacked their 5-5 or 5-5 into their 4-4? No, I didn't want to leave my 5 attacker on 1 toughness.
The winged musician dons her mask.
One strike fatality.
Shall I play a song of the dragon?
Balance achieved.
Get Twilight Drake. Oh, I didn't have to trade my Orca. Forgot about the crest. Never living down the forgot about the crest allegations, chat.
We fear the dark because it let me aid you. Honor has no place on the battlefield. A dragon never forgets.
Think I need cards here. I'm going down to no evolutions, but with Birdite and Twilight Dragons in our deck, we're usually okay without evolutions. That's a real bad hand.
Pierce through the heart of darkness. Find my flame.
Forged in steel.
Pluie de paix.
I am no more than a servant of the light.
My oath is fulfilled.
There's an Urborg in play. Man, there's a reference I haven't heard in a long time. There's an Urborg in play. Oh, I think we're cooked. This could draw Birdite.
Is that a jingling purse I hear? Woo! Let's get scorching!
This stream was pre-recorded in front of a live audience. It was in fact pre-recorded.
The harmony of death and destruction.
Oh, it has the freebie.
Forged in steel.
Thanks for the business.
Yeah, I'm done.
Fede was the best draw on the deck. This is unfortunately one of those many games where we're just not going to have time to Fede. Yep.
Balance achieved.
I would just assume we're never going to have a window for the rest of the game to play this card, but maybe we'll be surprised.
To an endless sky.
Follow my lead. What's happening to me? Here.
To the shores of victory.
I see.
Fly forth into an endless sky.
Merman! Merman!
Start with the basic fish stats.
I don't know that that lets us win the game, but it lets us continue playing at least.
Heaven's wrath will fall heavy on your head.
Narrator, it did not let him continue playing.
The hour of reckoning approaches. You earn this.
Well, I think that was a perfect 2 games to start a Fetty highlight. Because we had the high and the low, right? We had the immense, our Haven opponent dirtled, and we got to run them over, and Fetty was this incredible over-the-top card that decimated them. And then we had my opponent was playing to the board as is more typical, and I could never afford to play this 8-drop.
This brings me back.
limit yourself to one dimension.
Unironically, I think Burnite's emblem is good enough in this matchup that I think I could make an argument for keeping her in my opener. Especially when I already have a piece of ramp. I think if I didn't have a ramp, I would mulligan the Burnite here. But I think her emblem is just so good against the Coyotes deck. But I'm pretty happy to keep her here.
Frost blooms in my dominion. Absolute zero.
Dragon Sight on 3 feels like cheating.
This homework's too hard.
You can't really ramp into the Burnite emblem. It's not about ramping into the Burnite emblem. It's about just having the Burnite when I finally have my Super Evolution.
Dons her mask. Tear this world of yours. Coming through. Boiled again, but not for good. What's happening to me?
Onion card is so busted.
Never forgets. The winged musician dons her mask. Well, song of the dragon. I'll get you next time.
If we find what's her name next turn,
Jingling purse, I hear.
we probably have a window to play her. So I'm gonna play the Ruby digging for the Fene.
Coming through.
So we probably have a window.
Ready, Graham? Right behind you, Anne. Where's the business?
Fly forth into an endless sky.
You may approach.
That's close. I don't think I want to burn a Super Evo there.
Ready, Graham? Right behind you, Anne.
This is not the end.
I think it's just Olivia.
Woo! Let's get scorching!
I'm gonna go ahead and put this emblem out.
Caught us off guard.
Witness my kung fu.
More.
I mean, I agree you're not gonna have time to play Fene against the aggro deck. It's my theory craft on Fene, Dilsky, is that, like, if you're acknowledging you're never playing her against aggro, I think your matchups against the other bigger decks are good enough that you don't need a card that dunks on them extra. Like, you already have, like, Twilights and Odins and Genesis and all this other beef. You don't need it to be better most of the time. All right, a Storm Blast coming that's gonna finish this.
Yeah, I'm done.
Sure. Can they kill me from 16 next turn? What if I Genesis and hit them for 11?
Accept the ineluctable way.
They can't coup on enhanced, right?
Onto
They're only on 9. So this puts them to 4, and then the Burnite emblem puts them to 3. And if they go to heal, they only heal to 6 because of the Burnite emblem. And then Odin plus Super Evo could threaten to kill them.
My students shine more than gold.
It is deeply upsetting how good Norman is in the opponent's deck.
Transcending time!
It's so dumb that they can heal 8 here. I guess they still can't kill this on board. They need one more point from somewhere. Okay.
The waters call to me.
On to the next round. You've gotta be the cutest. This homework's too hard.
And I have the Twilight Dragon queued up here. The question is, am I drawing with it? Fun and interactive deck. I always think it's amusing when people in card games like this and Magic the Gathering say fun and interactive about a deck like the opponent's, because this deck's annoying because it's very interactive. Like, objectively, they are interacting with me a lot, and that's part of why it's obnoxious. Fun is obviously deeply subjective, and the deck is very good, but, like, it's very interactive, and that's why it's powerful. I only need to stall a couple more turns for the Burnite emblem to get them back into Odin plus Super Evo range. Yeah, something like Roach would be non-interactive, but, like, even the Roach deck, it's a control, like, I played a lot of Roach last season. That was a control deck. That was a control deck last season. The game kind of forces you to interact with your opponent or die. Absolutely. I can only deal 8 to them, which is so sad. I don't have one more point somewhere. I think I have to burn my Super Evo to not die. Which is really sad.
You may approach.
Bring calm to our
This is better than using it on Fennec, at least. Let's me gain a bunch of life.
Obey your punishment. This will not stand.
Into the night.
Coming through, coming through. Wah!
Open thine eyes, traitor.
Are we dead?
On to the next round.
Probabilistically.
Let's end this.
Transgression is born of the heavens. Journey of 1,000 miles.
So close, yet so far away.
This brings me back.
Medium rare or well done?
All right, I have a Fede. I think if I'm not keeping Fede in this matchup, we need to not keep it anywhere. As much as I should have just called that deck unfun rather than not interactive. Yeah, I think it's just one of those, the fun and interactive thing is just like, it's kind of like a card game meme where like people basically use literally to mean figuratively. That's basically what it comes down to.
Praise me more.
Would Birdite, Crest, plus Odin, Super Evo have been lethal in that last turn? No, they were at 9 and that was 8. Explicitly said we were 1 short.
Start with the basic fish stats. Too slow. Sardine swing.
We were 1 short for a couple of turns. Is it safe to say Spell Boost Root is like Splitter Twin and Magic? Nah, it's closer to something like Scape Shift. It's not wholly deterministic. It's usually game winning, but not 100% of the time.
Ready, Graham? Right behind you, Anne. Defeat is not an option.
I'm a free-to-play. Can you teach me how to play Spell Boost Runecraft? I'm curious, just because I think the way people frames things is always interesting to me. How does you being free to play factor into me teaching you how to play a deck?
Start with the basic fish stats.
I think it's fine to be free to play in games like this. I also think it's fine to spend money, but it's so the culture of I have this like badge of honor because I'm free to play, or like this chip on the shoulder where I have to announce it. It's a kind of like that meme. How do you know someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you. It's like you do you, fam, but. And for reference, no, this is not a good channel if you're looking for spell boost content. It is not a deck that I really enjoy playing. When we occasionally play Runecraft, it's usually the Earthright build, not that other build. I think they're saying they're free to play because they might have a limited amount of cards. Sure, but they didn't ask for a budget build. They asked for how to play it, which is different. I think I have to Birdite to not die here, right? Do I? I guess I can call plus Ruby and then save my extra point for Fene next turn. I can evolve to interact with the board here. That's probably the line.
Is that a jingling purse I hear?
Okay, I think I need to get the Fene down.
My kung fu.
I'll fight, as long as the check clears. No! Caught us off guard. You
I could always Birdite in case of emergency. I'm gonna throw the Twilight Dragon back so there's maximum in my deck for Fene to get using. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the draft mode. I think the draft mode should have some good content to make around it. Good interesting draft runs should be fun videos. Excited to have those in the mix of some constructed uploads per week, some tier list stuff, some drafts. Super Evo Birdite is better to start the Crest, right? So they're the dedicated Earthcraft deck, which makes Birdite's Crest a little bit less important here.
Fate's head will fall.
You're done for. Care to sample my
Thanks for the
scent?
business.
And this is just the kind of classic problem with this card, right? Like, I literally can't play it.
Fly forth into an endless sky.
And then I broke down another one here. I guess I could have Bird Knighted, but I don't know how I win the game without getting a head on board. I don't think I'm winning this game without hitting with the Olivia here.
You may approach.
One strike fatality.
Even fate should follow my lead.
Land beyond better.
I'm killing the one that's slightly weaker because they can Super Evo this one. And then obviously we're dead to follow up Odin here.
All I can do is gaze up at them. This is
I'm not dead yet. How was rehearsal today, dude?
Good.
Good. Excellent.
Are you okay if mom's ordering sandwiches?
Mom's ordering sandwiches. I love sandwiches.
Oh, 8 damage.
8 damages. We're only at 2 though, so we're probably
Now
good.
that's big damage.
Big damage? It was a lot of damage. Unfortunately, so is this Kuan. He's gonna damage our face here.
Oh, face.
Alright, gamers. I'm gonna play one more with this deck in unranked, and then I think we're gonna retire it. We've successfully 1-3'd our diamond group trying to play this. And rather than falling out of the diamond group completely, I'm gonna give the person who submitted it one more game here in the old unranked. But I appreciate getting a chance to play this to like validate my theory craft with actual practice, but I feel like I appropriately put this card into each.
Oh, you go first.
We are going first this time around, yep.
Is that good?
You should let mommy know I'm good with sandwiches, my dude.
Okay, what strategy are you doing?
We're doing a ramp strategy, meaning we get extra play points faster.
Oh, thanks. So you tried to stall the later game.
Yep, stall for the later game, that's exactly right.
So do you win? Oh, you keep that lead until the end of the
We did do the thing once. Honestly, I think this is a great video to post. I think this set will be a good highlight to post on the YouTube. Like, it's actually perfect. We had the insane high roll in the first game to start, and then we had the crashing back to reality showing how this card is clunky compared to the other options in the rest of the games that we played.
What's happening to me?
Just a good show how this is working in theory.
You may approach.
Yeah, thank you for the submission, Dilsky. I appreciate the direct support for that.
The clouds won't know what hit 'em.
For reference, for people who haven't watched the stream the last couple of days, I actually like Ramp Dragon. I just don't think Fene really belongs here. I've been playing Garyu. What's up?
Yes,
I'm okay with either of those. Oh, you need a tiebreaker? Oh. Oh, Chad, I have to decide which child I love more. You know, we usually do Avantis, and I know your mother prefers Jimmy John's. Let's do Jimmy John's. We'll do Avanti next time. Okay, yeah, she does care though. She's just not gonna tell you that. This is a good life lesson, Declan. When she says she doesn't care, she does really still care. Love you, dude.
Ready, Graham? Right behind you, Anne.
So for those who are new here, those are my older two. They are 10 and 11. For people who aren't new here, if you would like to crumble to dust, Jacob starts junior high in the fall. The old timers. The old timers remember when I used to have to take breaks to change diapers on this stream. It's been a minute, but I think I'm putting the mermen out here because if I put enough pressure on the board this turn, hopefully I can Fene next turn.
Witness my kung fu.
Haley is a baby still. Haley starts kindergarten, gamers. I'm so excited for my $20,000 a year raise. Less than a month, and I'm done with daycare forever. Less than a month. How do you feel with him starting junior high versus starting kindergarten? Starting kindergarten was so much better because it meant I was done paying for daycare.
Transcending time! Foiled again, but not for good.
And then in 5+ years, the first car. So I think we're gonna have the first car covered. So we have what's basically a COVID car, which is to say one of our cars. We have a 10-year-old car that doesn't even have 60,000 miles on it that we've been good about the upkeep on because we just largely didn't drive for a number of years.
One strike fatality.
All right, Fetty and spell boost. Fetty has cut the cost of things in our deck here. And we're still at 20, so let's see if we can do it. Does middle school start really late in your area? Mine doesn't get on the bus till 8:50. Our middle school starts later than elementary school, but not that much later. They stagger the starts of elementary, junior high, and high school in the town where I live, so they can reuse buses between them. So they start progressively later as the kids get older. So they can save on busing costs.
Coming through!
Wow!
This homework's too hard.
My town is the opposite. They get progressively earlier. See, I think that's a bad idea. You should want the teenagers to sleep in. I think letting them start progressively later as they become brooding teenagers sounds great.
Ready, Gran? Right behind you, Anne. Beyond time!
That is an aggressively early, what's it called? I guess they need to kill this, they're having trouble killing the 8/9.
Transform into true scholars.
I guess Runecraft is kind of strong to the point where it negates Fetty and doesn't allow it to do crazy stuff. So that's definitely part of what makes this metagame like hum to a degree is the fact that I think I'm gonna Olivia here to start and see what we draw. Because if I draw a discount Twilight, we can play it. Am I playing the discount Twilight here? I actually don't know the answer to that. It might just be Odin smack their face. So I can do this. I can do this. I think I want to save Twilight for their Kuan.
Too slow.
Sorry, rephrase. We were talking about it earlier where Runecraft just has so much inevitability with decline, it really doesn't give other things a chance to go over the top because it just like kills them on the spot. Is the way it works out. Scam Climb. I mean, they're definitely a combo deck. The opponent's archetype is like a quintessential combo control deck.
To the edge of what's known.
Get lost.
That being said, I have a White Frost Whisper next turn, which is nice, and my Twilight Dragon is half off. A dime store Twilight. So Twilight Dragon, and to make all their stuff cost more probably means they have a real hard time.
What's happening to me? This is not the end.
Into the night.
So increase the cost of all cards in my opponent's hand by 1. Your move.
Coming through!
If they have, I think they've only played 1 Kuon, right? No, they played 2 Kuon. If they had 3rd Kuon, we could have been in trouble, because Enhance doesn't get disrupted by Fene. Fene's spell.
New year, new me.
Beyond time!
Sweet mother of God.
Give up.
Open thine eyes, traitor.
Absolutely cooked.
You may approach.
I could find a 4 energy Birdite.
Fly forth into an endless sky.
Can still find a 4 energy Birdite, right? I haven't played any of her yet this game. Nope. 1 and 8. That's my only out, right? Is 4 energy Birdite. Oh. Oh yeah. GG.
Stand proud.
Unfortunately, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles. You know, it's unfortunate that that broke that way, but there's a reason why we jumped out of ranked with it. So if you haven't seen me play it, I do think Dragon Ramp is a solid B tier deck, but I think it's genuinely just better without Fene in it. So this is the 40 cards I've been playing for Dragon Ramp. It's got a little bit more play here on the bottom end so you don't die to aggro as hard, and it's playing Garyu in that 8-drop slot. And Garyu is a card that's such a good modal card for this type of deck, where Garyu, when you need to be aggressive, allows you to pressure your opponents, but also it can play defensive with the rush plus ward card letting you control the board. So these are my preferred Dragon cards. If you haven't seen this highlight, there was a highlight with this one that went up over the weekend. We've also played it a bunch on stream. Check that out at the Hooglandia Shadowverse Worlds Beyond channel. But Fene worked out exactly in theory exactly in practice as she did in theory, which is to say when she high rolled it was sweet, and when we weren't high rolling it was real clunky and bad. Do you have any thoughts on Portal Artifact? I think the Portal decks it's unclear to me if Artifacts or Puppets are better, but Orcus is still Orcus and very, very good. All right, we are going to take a pause for the cause to let some adverts roll, and we're going to kick on over to playing some Marvel Snap-a-Lappin'. If you missed our Legendary tier list live for our first expansion, that'll go up on the Hooglandia Shadowverse Worlds Beyond YouTube channel tonight. If you want to keep watching on the YouTube side, you'll need to kick over to the Jeff Hoogland channel. If you're hanging out on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We'll be switching over right now. Run and fill my water bottle real quick though too.